the 10th inning with Nick Mattis.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be center field.
Hello, and welcome to the 10th inning. I'm Nick Mattis in the Lethal Weapon 2 studio with my producer, David Perkins. And today we're going to talk about the greatest teams in the Bay Area. I've lived and was born in the Bay Area all my life, and I've got the opportunity to watch some really great teams in the area. Back in 1972, 73, and 74, the Oakland A's won 3 consecutive World Series. In the 80s, we had the San Francisco 49ers. They won back-to-back Super Bowls in 1989 and 1990. And in 1991, were on the cusp of going to their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl when they fumbled it away in the NFC Championship game. In the recent past, we've had the San Francisco Giants. They won the World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014. But I believe the greatest team ever in the Bay Area is this year's Golden State Warriors. This year's Golden State Warriors are up 3-0 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. One win away from winning their second championship in the last 3 years. And last year, the Warriors had mounted a 3-1 lead over the Cavaliers, but the Cavaliers didn't give up. There was a critical injury to Andrew Bogut, the rim protector for the Golden State Warriors. Draymond Green got suspended in Game 5, and Steph Curry was not himself. He was playing through injuries, and the Cleveland Cavaliers won 3 consecutive games to take the championship away from the Golden State Warriors. But this year, the Warriors have played as a team that's on a mission. And so far in the playoffs, they're 15 wins and no losses. No team ever in NBA history has gone 16-0 in the playoffs. Friday night, the Golden State Warriors will try to achieve that in Cleveland. Let's talk a little bit more about this team, the Golden State Warriors, this year. They picked up Kevin Durant in the offseason. They automatically became the favorite to win the NBA championship. And sure enough, they've done just what the experts expected. Throughout the season, the Golden State Warriors mounted 67 wins and 15 losses during the regular season. However, during the regular season, there was a setback for the Golden State Warriors, which I believe was the setup for them to go on and win this championship. Kevin Durant injured his knee, and during that period of time, the Golden State Warriors lost 3 consecutive games immediately after his injury. But they righted themselves, and it was an opportunity for players on the team to step up and to improve and find their roles on the team, and that's just what they did. The Golden State Warriors during that period of time went 19 wins and 4 losses when Kevin Durant was injured. When Kevin re-entered the team was energized and have gone through the playoffs so far unscathed. 15 wins and no losses. Last night's game against the Cleveland Cavaliers was finally the game that NBA experts and fans were looking for. The Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers squared off in a real battle. The Cavaliers had to win the game last night. It was a must-win. They were down 2-0. They knew if they went to the 3rd consecutive loss in the NBA Finals that no team has ever mounted a comeback down 3-0 in the NBA Finals. And sure enough, the Golden State Warriors, who were trailing by 6 points with 3 minutes left in the game, staged an incredible comeback, capped with a 3-point shot made by Kevin Durant with 45 seconds remaining that put the Warriors ahead 114-113. The Warriors then went on to cap off the victory with some free throws, finishing the Cavaliers, and the final score was 118-113. The comeback for the Golden State Warriors was not surprising. in the first round of the conference championships, the Golden State Warriors were trailing to the San Antonio Spurs by 25 points in the first half of that game and mounted the greatest comeback in playoff history, defeating the San Antonio Spurs in Game 1. This year's Golden State Warriors team has some intangibles that no other team in NBA basketball has ever had. Now, I don't want to go out on a limb and say that this is the greatest NBA team ever, but there are some stats that could prove that it may be. The last 3 years here, the Golden State Warriors have won more basketball games than any team in NBA history. For the third straight season, this team won 90 road games over this 3-season stretch. No team in NBA history ever won more than 27 road games in one season, and the Warriors have done it in 3 consecutive years. We all know how hard it is to win on the road in any of the major professional sports. Another stat that I think is incredible about the Golden State Warriors is their shooting percentage. This team has averaged more points per game than any team in NBA playoffs. In all of their 15 wins, they've scored over 100 points. NBA basketball now is turned around where it's all about the offense, the three-point shot. The Golden State Warriors have the greatest sharpshooters in NBA history, behind Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. Coming off the bench, Ian Clark. This team is just loaded with sharpshooters. And in today's basketball, the three-point shot is what the game is all about. If we're going to talk about the greatest teams ever, you're going to have to look at the Boston Celtics back in the day, the LA Lakers. These are teams, Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan. But they did not shoot the three-point shot like the Golden State Warriors do. And in today's basketball playoffs, the Warriors have completely dominated their opponents. If you're going to measure the quality of a team, you have to look at their opponents. The opponents that the Warriors have gone through are all worthy opponents. But if you look at the point differential in these games, it's unbelievable. The Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals since 2015 have averaged, and their opponent has been the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Warriors' average margin of victory in these games over the Cleveland Cavaliers is 23 points. 23 points. That just says it all right there. When you're just demolishing your opponent by this amount, that tells you what a quality team the Golden State Warriors are. And this year, the Golden State Warriors are on a mission. They have not lost a single playoff game. Again, no team in NBA history has ever gone through the playoffs and gone 16-0. Now, the Golden State Warriors have not accomplished the 16th victory yet. The game is Friday night in Cleveland, and the Cavaliers are a very, very proud team led by the king, LeBron James. Look for Cleveland to give it all they got there, and that's going to be a heck of a battle. If the Golden State Warriors do indeed accomplish this feat and go undefeated throughout this playoffs, I think you have to put them at the top of the list of the greatest NBA team ever. Again now, we're going to look at this team, and when you look at the Golden State Warriors team, it's built from the top down. Their owner, Joe Lacob, went out, said he was going to get a championship, ended up getting some of the greatest coaches, led by Coach Kerr. They had Luke Walton, who's now the coach for the LA Lakers. This team was built from the top down. The owner has been generous and gone out and got the players, and management has done a good job of getting the coaches, and the team has just reloaded. After winning their first NBA championship in 2015, defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-2 And by the way, the Warriors were down 2-1 in that series. A lot of people forget that. And came back with 3 consecutive wins to win the title. And then in 2016, they came back with basically the same team that year that had gone to the finals in 2015. And in 2016, the Golden State Warriors set an NBA record for regular season victories with 73 wins and 9 losses. Never before had a team won 73 games. In the playoffs, the Golden State Warriors lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers after mounting a 3-1 lead in the series. Injury to Andrew Bogut and to Steph Curry, and Draymond Green was suspended. They blew a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. But that got underneath their skin, and that was a motivating factor for the Warriors all season long this year. They wanted to win the NBA championship. And when they added the cerebral assassin, Kevin Durant, I believe is the best player in the NBA. Now, I know there's a lot of people who say that LeBron James is the greatest player in the NBA, and I'm going to tell you this. He is the most valuable player to his team. If you take LeBron James away from the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're just a shell of a team, and their record shows that. They have a losing record when LeBron James is not on the court. But talent-wise, Kevin Durant is at the peak of his career right now, and he's played like that in the playoffs this year and throughout the regular season. And when the Golden State Warriors added Kevin Durant, they now have the greatest shooting team ever in the NBA. With Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, no NBA team has this kind of firepower. And the Golden State Warriors have showed that indeed is the most important aspect of NBA basketball, is shooting the basketball, having success with it, and the three-point shot. In today's NBA, that is the most important 3 combination right there. 3-pointers, accuracy, and to be able to have several players on your team be able to shoot the 3-pointer. Again, the Warriors are built from the top down. The management's done a good job of putting players in place on this team. When you look at the Golden State Warriors, not only do they have a great starting 5, but their bench is deep. Andre Iguodala comes off the bench. And in 2015, as the 6th player, he won the most valuable NBA Championship Finals award. He did a fantastic job of coming in 2015 and shutting down LeBron James. And in that finals, he also scored the basketball, averaging near 15 points a game. So you start with Andre Iguodala off the bench. Sean Livingston is another player that comes off the bench, has done a great job. Has been part of these last 3 NBA Finals teams for the Golden State Warriors. And then the players after that, the Warriors have just continued to get better players. This year they picked up David West and JaVale McGee, a couple of rim protectors that have done a great job for the Golden State Warriors. Come off the bench, David West is a fine passer, one of the best big men passers in the league. And JaVale McGee, who's been shuffled around the NBA for many years, has found a home here in Golden State. And the excitement that he adds when he comes off the bench is unbelievable. The Warriors have the alley-oop down to just a perfection. When JaVale comes into the game, it forces the other team to protect the rim, again opening up shots for the Golden State Warriors at the 3-point line. You look deeper into the bench, the Golden State Warriors now have Zaza Pachulia as one of their starters. He came from Dallas Mavericks. He's been in the league for a while. And again, Zaza is a great screen setter. He knows how to put his body on an opposing player, and that frees those sharpshooters for those open looks that they desperately need. You look deeper into the bench, Ian Clark, a little guard, comes off the bench there, does a good job of shooting the 3-pointer. You also have some other big men coming off the bench. James McAdoo's son comes off the bench there and does a great job. The Golden State Warriors are a complete team. A lot of times you're looking at some of the other elite teams in the league, and particularly the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they just are not deep enough to stay with the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors use a fast break offense. They push the ball up and down the court. Their goal is to get 100 shots, near 100 shots a game is what their goal is. And they accomplish that a lot of times. The other aspect of the Golden State Warriors that puts them in an elite class is that they share the basketball. The Golden State Warriors average near 30 assists per game. No team in the NBA is even close to that. And there's an old saying, caring is sharing, and the Golden State Warriors share the basketball. When you're getting upwards near 30 assists and more a game, that's showing your teammates that you want them to get the better shot. And the Golden State Warriors share the basketball better than any team in NBA history, not only in this year's league. Well, if we're going to talk about the greatest teams in NBA, I think the Golden State Warriors are in this conversation. I certainly know that, and I'm sure that there's other historians that are going to say, well, how would the Warriors match up with, for instance, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Los Angeles Lakers? The Warriors aren't made to protect the rim in that area. JaVale McGee, Zaza Pachulia, those are good centers, but they're not in the class of a historical player, a player like Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That player, but the game has changed. And I would say to people that are thinking about the Los Angeles Lakers, the old Boston Celtics, the Chicago Bulls, those teams are not built to shoot the three-pointer, and the NBA has now evolved into the three-point shot. And when you're watching the Golden State Warriors, they're the most entertaining team in basketball. Not only do they shoot the three-point shot, but their passing is so entertaining, and the way they share the ball. And Steph Curry doesn't even get close to the three-point line a lot of times. A lot of times, Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, they're 3 or 4 steps outside the three-point line, which is unbelievable because those shots, you just can't, nobody's taking those shots like the Golden State Warriors do. So, again, when we're looking at the greatest teams in the Bay Area, I certainly want to recognize the other teams in the other sports. The San Francisco 49ers had an unbelievable run in the 1980s, winning 4 Super Bowls under Joe Montana. And the Oakland A's did something that has never been done before here in the Bay Area, winning 3 consecutive World Series in 1972, 73, and 74. Reggie Jackson and that Oakland A's team was very entertaining back in the day. And then you talk about the recent team, the San Francisco Giants. And the Giants won World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014. And again, the Giants were very entertaining those years. And I don't want to take anything away from those teams, but I do think that this year's Golden State Warriors team and this 3-year run that the Golden State Warriors have made is the most incredible and amazing run that the Bay Area has ever seen. And I want you to know this. This team is not done. With Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson all at the peak of their careers, who says that the Golden State Warriors won't be able to make it back to the NBA Finals next year and do the same thing? The way that this team is built, as long as no player gets injured for a long period of time, even though Kevin Durant did get injured this year, and there were some minor injuries to Klay Thompson and to Steph Curry throughout the season, this team is built to make another run at the NBA championship next year. And this could be a dynasty beginning. If it's not already a dynasty right now, it definitely is the beginning of a dynasty. So, again, keep your eye on this team. This team is only going to get better. The NFL draft is coming up. The Warriors probably are going to be looking for another big man to help out in the paint there. But really, the pieces that the Golden State Warriors need are very few. This team is built for a run, and I believe this is the greatest team in Bay Area sports ever. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to be back here in 1 month. I'm going to take a little break here from the Lethal Weapon 2 studio. I'll be back in 1 month to talk about the NFL football season returning here shortly. Thank you for joining me today on the 10th inning. I'm Nick Mattis. I want to thank my producer, David Perkins, for letting me to come into the Lethal Weapon 2 studios. Good night.